What's embarrassing, what's offensive, is when you stand on this floor and you call yourself gay, but yet you vote down the same civil rights for gay people every single day. That is an embarrassment. That is something to be ashamed for. And my mama raised me, don't pretend to be who you don't intend to be. And that's what we are hearing from this other side.
We had a chance to go back and look at the language, and I don't know if you've had an opportunity to see it, but it's very clear. Like, I was going to bring my 4-year-old daughter here today. I'm really glad I didn't, as a side note. But the language strikes the operative language. I mean, it's like page 1 in the Legislative Council Digest. It strikes the main language that my colleague from Sacramento was trying to accomplish with this bill. And instead, it inserts intent language. When I woke up this morning, I intended to do a lot of things. Intended to work out, I intended to wake up earlier and have a more productive day. I intended to be done with session earlier today than it is now. We all intend to do a lot of things and they don't happen. This bill doesn't accomplish what we're trying to do, which is to make it a felony for purchasing a 16 or 17-year-old. And so if you haven't had a chance, please go back and read the language, because it is struck out of the language. The plain language is not supportable. And because of that, I must respectfully ask for a no vote on these amendments.
Yes, you heard that right. Yesterday at the California Capitol, the Democrats blocked a bill that would make it a serious felony in buying 16 and 17-year-olds. Let me show you. They are always trying to make it about brown and black men. If you guys remember, last year, Senator Susan Eggman went onto the Senate floor and said after 12 years of being a senator, she's tired of saying it's okay to buy kids. And she is tired of the party, but she's still part of the Democrat Party. She did not walk away. But she said, this is what she said, I don't want to see black and brown men locked up. Well, what are they talking about? Black and brown men are not the only ones who buy children. And here goes Gavin Newsom, always trying to look moderate right now. Look, he is the reason why these laws have been signed, allowing children to be bought and sold. I mean, what? But whatever. He's trying to say, you know what, I'm going to get into this. We are going to force the Democrats to vote for this bill. And then the Democrats said, no. We're not going to do that right now. What we're going to have is a discussion in the fall about this. This is why I will never vote Democrat ever again. Yesterday, they showed their ass. They showed that they couldn't care less about children, that it's okay to sell them. It's fine. It's fine because, we don't want to impact the gay community. We don't want to impact the black and brown community. They also showed their ass with saying, you know what? It's okay. It's okay to have sexual, violent predator men locked up with women. This is why the Democrat Party has lost their base.
If you're going to be a sleazeball, criminal dirtbag, California is the place to do it. You almost have to beg to be put away there, especially if you buy a 16 or 17-year-old for sex, because the Democrats who control that state just cannot bring themselves to make that a felony. This debate has been going on for over a year. Let me break it down for you. Republican, of course, State Senator Shannon Grove first introduced the proposal to make it a felony to buy a child under the age of 18 for sex. Before the proposal, it had just been a misdemeanor crime. But she couldn't convince Democrats to go that far, so last year they struck a deal to allow the felony charge to only apply to those who purchased children under 16 for sex. The dirtbags who purchase a 16 or 17-year-old, again, for sex, well, they could face a misdemeanor or a felony based on the discretion of local prosecutors. Oh, and the older teens would also have to prove they're being trafficked. Isn't that lovely? But even that so-called deal was too tough for Democrats in the Assembly Public Safety Committee because this week they blocked a proposal to make it a felony. And the gutted and soft-ass version, well, that's the only thing moving forward. But why would anyone want to go soft on those who buy a 16 or 17-year-old for sex? Well, let me allow Democrat Assembly Public Safety Chair Nick Schultz to explain his concerns.
So right now in Sacramento, there is a well-known blade. KCRA did a documentary on it. It's just a few miles away from here. Sheriff Jim Cooper has said that right now, if a John were to go and try to purchase a 16 or 17-year-old on that blade and law enforcement were to intervene, because of a judge's order right now in Sacramento, law enforcement would not be able to put that person in jail because it's not the solid felony that law enforcement has been asking it to be. So I just want to make sure, like, you're okay with 16 and 17-year-olds continuing to be purchased on this blade for the next year or until you have to dissect this issue in the fall, and these Johns getting let go and just issued with citations?
Well, I don't agree with the premise of the question, but what I would say is I'm not okay with any child anywhere being exploited, but the solution that we craft, the solution that we pass needs to make sense, it needs to be equitable, it needs to be comprehensive. And while I appreciate Assemblymember Krell for bringing the proposal forward, and I know that her heart is on this issue, it's connected in a way that few other legislators can really be equal to or understand, it's also my job to make sure that we're not just passing knee-jerk policy, but we're having good substantive conversation and landing on a good spot.
No, they said we need time to study it. I'm sorry, but if you need to study whether it's right or wrong to buy a minor child at 16 or 17 for sex, again, you're unfit for office. This is a no-brainer. We're the only state in the union where this nonsense is tolerated, where these children are being trafficked with no legal protections. No studying. Just get the damn law changed or resign your post. And I'm hearing from Democrats today across the state of California that they are not going to vote Democrat in the upcoming election. I think that we're going to break the Democrat supermajority in Sacramento, in California, over this one singular vote, because it is that extreme, it is that wrong.
Well, there you have it. Wouldn't want to make it a felony to buy 16 and 17-year-olds for sex because maybe that's not equitable and doesn't make sense. All this to say, California is a frickin' hellhole. Get out while you can.
Guy Benson says, I rarely get angry on air, but this warranted it. I'm going to show you guys this clip in just a moment, but it's actually really funny, ironic, I think, especially from the standpoint of like just lashing out on camera, on air, at work. We've seen some people crashing out here recently. A lot of unemployed behavior happening at establishments like Joann Fabrics and McDonald's and Starbucks and whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, I tell folks that I work with all the time, clients, other content creators, YouTubers, as we build their channels, grow their channels, increase their earnings and revenue. And I say, don't read the comments. Don't worry about the comments. Whether the comment's good or whether the comment's bad, the comment is about and for who left it. Now, granted, there are some, exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, you kind of got to let that shit roll off your back. One of the comments that I receive most often has a lot to do with our partner Chapter and us offering free Medicare help and providing their phone number and website for free Medicare consultations. Now, I don't give the Medicare help. I'm not a Medicare professional. I'm not a Medicare expert, but I do provide Chapter's number and a way of contacting them and accessing this in my videos, on my videos, in the descriptions, in the pinned comments. A lot of folks have already called, have already reached out, have already begun saving money, and have already thanked me for doing that. And I appreciate that, and you're welcome. But I'm not going to sit here and lash out at those who want to leave negativity in the comment section that ultimately goes against all things good, ultimately prevents people from having help, prevents people from improving themselves in their lives and their financial situation and whatnot. And I got to say that if anybody has a problem with someone or several someones trying to save and protect our youth, children, not only in this country, but around the world for that matter, then you deserve this talking to. You deserve what I'm about to show you guys here on this clip. You deserve that. Because, I mean, this is unreal. The lengths at which the left and this progressive liberal ideology and woke mind virus have gone are unreal, insane, unbelievable, but has to be because this shit is happening. This is real. We're actually voting on this shit. We're fighting against this. We are combating. We are arguing and debating over this shit. This is fucking unreal. Speaking of unreal, the amount of subscribers I've lost this morning on the few videos and live streams that I've done so far, apparently I've realized, and I continue to, this continues to be like a constant reminder that not everybody gets me. Not everybody understands me. Not everybody is going to be able to comprehend. And people need to be like spoon-fed. They need to be coddled. They need to have their hand held. And I'm just not going to do that. So I'm going to provide you guys with these videos. I'm going to share the information. I'm going to insert my opinion and commentary and response and reaction to. I'm going to add to and develop on the dialogue of these conversations. I'm going to help inform, educate, and hopefully provide value to you guys, maybe some entertainment in the process. And if it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If you don't like what I have to say, you don't have to watch. If you don't like what's on the screen, you don't have to watch. No one's forcing you. I don't think anyone's holding a gun to your head to make you watch these videos. But if so, then send help. Call 911 if they haven't defunded the police in your city already. But, you know, the titles, the thumbnails, maybe for a second before you jump in the comment section and say, I don't like it, or I can't believe this, or, you know, this is fake, this is false, this is a lie, this is clickbait. Maybe just for a second, be like, maybe he meant it this way. Maybe he meant it that way. Maybe he meant it differently. Maybe I'm not meant to watch this video. Well, I'm really just joking with you guys because ultimately I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, continue what I've been doing, and continue to connect with those who I connect with, those who get me, understand me, and enjoy and like. And even if you don't, and you're still here and you're watching because you're hate watching, I appreciate that too, because it helps increase my views and increase my revenue. So there's that. With that being said, Michelle and I are jumping back into the podcast realm, and on a separate channel, we are going to be diving into some of these different topics and discussions and conversations that will more than likely ruffle feathers. Odds are it will be extremely polarized. We have no idea what it's going to do to subscriber counts or like rates or ratios, and we honestly don't care. This is information that needs to be shared. These are conversations that need to be had. These are discussions that need to be brought out into the light, out into the open. Like this one here.
I want to respond to that for a moment. It is sickening that some California Democrats and radical activists are attacking Assemblyman Carl DeMaio, who's a gay Republican, and who Gonzalez was referring to there, as some sort of traitor to gay civil rights because he supports punishing sexual abusers of children with felony charges. How dare they? Equating purchasing 16 and 17-year-old minors for sex with gay rights is repugnant. It's conflation. It's unacceptable. You sometimes have to wonder if these depraved people are trying to vindicate some of the ugliest stereotypes out there. Ferociously opposing laws that would strengthen protections against the sexual exploitation of minors is indefensible. Broadly speaking, it might strike some observers as less of a valid policy view here and more of a confession of sorts. If this is how some extremists want to twist and distort and redefine gay rights, count me out. Not in my name. And I know I'm not alone.